I'm Andrew Sansom, AI Solution Engineer at Protopia AI, and I'm here today with Istvan Varco, the Global Head of AI, Cyber, and Innovation at WWT. We're going to talk together about some work that WWT and Protopia has been doing together recently. Istvan, would you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, so as you said, Istvan Varco. I'm with Worldwide Technology, leading a lot of our AI, cyber, and innovation practices. And the interesting thing about it is, a lot of times we have to look through a lot of partners for that diamond in the rough. So being able to find partners that can bring new capabilities into this AI age that really brings security. So I think that's where we connected a couple of years ago and really built a relationship between WWT and Protopia.
Awesome. So the Armor framework that WWT has is a crucial part of how you think about secure AI. How does WWT's Armor framework guide the way organizations should think about secure AI infrastructure?
Yeah, the nice thing about the Armor framework is we essentially put it together to give customers a simple way to approach AI. Because if you looked at the actual way that we were approaching it, was very topical, right? It would be AI inferencing, it would be data security. But the challenge was that when we actually went to customers, it didn't fit into a good, area of expertise. So what we did is we actually took it back to our standard security governance models, and we said, let's split it out into 6 different domains. So we looked at governance, risk, compliance, because that's so important, right? It drives all the other aspects. Then we looked at model protection, where Protopia obviously fits in perfectly. So model protection isn't just inference, it's also the training, right? Then it's secure AI operations, because you want to be able to have visibility over your AI environment and make sure that you actually have the security active in real time. Then data security, of course, that's key. As Jensen said earlier today, the data drives the AI intelligence in the future. And then infrastructure, right? So the importance of infrastructure is that a lot of your traditional security controls still apply, but you have to bring these things together into a model that can actually help customers move forward, right?
Awesome. Yeah, the Armor framework is very thorough, all right? And AI has new challenges that come with it because it's a new technique. Protopia Stained Glass Transform is able to take inputs to models and protect them in a way that the model can understand it, but the data is still protected. Where does Protopia Stained Glass fit into the architecture when sensitive data needs to be used for inference?
That's the interesting thing about Protopia that was, to me, initially we looked at it as a privacy enhancing capability, right? Because you don't want, even with third-party or neo cloud providers or anything like that, you want to de-risk yourself, and the environment you control is the one that you're actually going to be understanding, and you can de-risk yourself by putting your controls into that place. Now, in addition to that, Protopia also brought in capabilities around optimization, right? Because instead of having one model per use case, you could actually start leveraging consolidated models actually with multiple use cases that is able to drive, better use of your GPUs, all those kind of things. So it's directly in that model protection space. But if you actually look at it, it's also optimizing your infrastructure. It's also optimizing your governance, risk, and compliance, because now you can also bring data into that environment that you wouldn't normally be able to, because a lot of times you don't want PII data, or you don't want any of those things, or let's say just corporate sensitive data. Now with the model, you can determine where you actually stop that data from flowing into third-party models. So bringing a lot more transparency to your risk associated to your stake.
Awesome, makes sense. You mentioned how Stained Glass Transform is able to kind of help share compute that would otherwise have to be isolated. So from a platform perspective, how does this approach impacting GPU utilization and overall the AI factory optimization?
So what we've seen is in many cases, when you start building out these environments, you don't find the best balance of optimization with inference loads. You first have to go through a whole load of infrastructure deployment, then you load your models, then you test applications, and then you may sit with a device or a inference environment that's not being optimally used. Now, it's far easier to actually have a larger inference cluster, for instance, and be able to put multiple use cases, because now not only are you sharing that capacity, you're able to peak out higher with individual use cases. So it not only gives you the ability to use your compute more effectively, but it also gives you the ability to scale better for those individual use inference queries, etc.
Awesome. So stained glass transfers really it enabled you to use more compute more efficiently across the board.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want the audience to know about WWT or the ARMOR framework or anything that you were working on?
Well, it might be good if we actually said the name of the ARMOR framework. So ARMOR framework actually stands for AI Readiness Model for Operational Resilience, because we believe that it's not just a security challenge. It's not just a data privacy challenge. It's not just a GRC challenge. It's if you do all of those things, you're going to end up with a resilient architecture. And the more we're moving to a world where we're going to be dependent on AI and we're going to be linking critical business workloads to it, the resiliency of that infrastructure is going to become more and more important.
Awesome. Well, it's been awesome working with WWT and here at Protopia, being able to help enable secure private use cases for AI there.